Hello everyone, this is day number 2 in Olympiad and this is my recap. Today I'm without my friend Vladimir. So what we're gonna see today, there were no sensations like it was yesterday. In our previous video you can see it on the screen right now. So mostly favorites got stronger. Opponents like India, US got way stronger teams to play against. But despite last round, nobody really failed. Everybody played pretty well. So I'm gonna show you a few games that were the most exciting to me, and in my opinion, they were really interesting. And we're gonna start with Ukrainian Grandmaster Vasyl Ivanchuk, who played a really great game in the match against Uruguay. He played against GM Andres Villa, and I'm gonna show you the game. Normally in such tournaments, players try to play solid, especially with black pieces, but Ukrainian genius playing in his own style. He goes for neither. He's trying to play for a win, and Ukraine won the match without big problems. So in neither, his opponent chooses an h3 move, which is very solid take, and point trying to go g4. Later maybe go g5, h4, and try to advance the pawns, trying to create an attack, while the king going to the queen side. For black, it's very hard to play such positions because if let's say castle short is dangerous, and in general g4 idea is very annoying. But it's not something new. Even Fischer played like that, so yeah. Normally people go here e5, and then after let's say knight e2, knight b3, there is a standard knight when you have a backward pawn, this hole right here, you develop in a normal way, but Vasily plays better in terms of playing for a win. He choosing e6 idea. I don't know if opponent expected it or not, but yeah, this is one of the options, but pretty risky one. Reminds me of some sort of style of Kasparov, who like these positions with this hedgehog. Usually this structure calls like this. G4 was played as expected in the game. Knight fd7. Idea is that black using prophylaxis to run away from g5 idea. White plays bishop e3. Another concept is to try to advance pawns as soon as possible, but white thinks that development is more important. Black plays b5, getting extra space plus developing the bishop very quickly. White plays a3 to prevent b4 move, and after knight b6, white plays castle on. Knight goes to d7, so Vasily improves his positions, and pieces really nicely. Right now he has an open file that he can use for an attack. King b1, standard prophylactical move for Sicilian, rook c8, bishop g5, and both of players playing really fast. And fun story about it is that I mean, this game hasn't appeared even once, at least in the Megabase Atai. Researched in because bishop g5 is something really very unexpected. Normally you will go f4, f4, h4, g5, all the stuff, but right here bishop g5 was played. Idea maybe to bait into bishop e7 and then play or h4, or maybe think about some sacrifices in the right moment. Queen c7 was played, f4, move is reasonable, and right now Ivanchuk really started thinking and decided to play h5 in the position after 5 minute thinking, and this is a mistake according to the engine. From the human perspective, the move is very logical, but actually it brings up some problems that we will see, because this game was a total roller coaster. Probably better was to play something like knight a4 or knight c5. Knight a4 looks ridiculous because it kind of doubles the pawn, but on the other hand we open up b file, and more files you have the better it is for the attack. And after some bishop d3, queen here, we might have these moves, and we kind of trying to pressure white. Or let's say we could go like knight c5. Engine also recommends e5, but I don't like such moves because you create the hole, create big weakness on d6, on d5, and yeah, it's like not the move Ivanchuk gonna play. So he plays h5. His opponent responds very nicely. He takes g8 and playing h4. This bishop seems to be trapped, but then after knight e6, black will not be really happy about the position. And black continues. Knight c4 going in the attack. And I don't know which valuation would you say right here looks like white is slightly better, but in fact it's around already +3, and white's playing amazing move rook h3, which is again super typical idea for this opening, because rook goes away from the attack of the bishop on b7 and at the same time reinforces third rank in case black decides to sacrifice the rook somewhere. Knight f6 was played, again pressuring the center, and trade here. This was the decisive moment for Uruguay player. Pawn is attacked, and we need to get to the king. So we can either go e5 or f5. And in fact, e5 was the best option, because after e5, let's say if we take, and knight goes somewhere right here, we have knight e4, there is a hole, d file is open, king stuck in the center, white can continue attacking, black's attack pretty dim, it's very hard to see how black can clearly find some clean shots. Knight d5 right here doesn't make the situation better, because right here we can even play like this, or knight e4 again, trying to increase the pressure on the opponent using d-file. Instead, in the game, f5 was played, where Ivanchuk, after some thinking, played e5, trying to keep the center closed. His opponent takes, and knight b3. Position is still better for white, but right now black got small chances to mess things up, because if black does nothing, position is horrible, because there is a hole. This pawn is terrible, bishops are not working, knights have a number of different outposts. That's the reason why b4 is played, trying to create pressure on the opponent. And after ab, bishop e4. You might ask why, let's say, not bishop e4 immediately, because then after knight a5, queen has nowhere to move. And let's say after b4 ab, bishop takes e4, we already can move to queen b4. So very smart thinking, really seeing what the opponent wants to do. And right here, white had only one clean shot how to get an advantage. And it was, as many of you could think, knight e4, but the idea behind this is to play this brilliant move rook c3. What's the point? The point is that after taking, we have permanent threats of slaying the king, getting inside, trying to destroy the opponent. So let's say after some queen a8, we can keep on improving. There is even rook g1, rook g8 idea going from the opposite side. If, for example, rook decides to move away, there is a cool move, knight c5, and then after capture there is a mate in 1 on d7, so queen has difficulties where to move, and by this time black or white will improve his queen and the position will be winning. Probably the only chance here is to play queen a8, but even right here position is worse, because we again have this bad bishop against the knight with many outposts, plus queens are on the board, and this king definitely requires some help. But in the game, knight a5 was played, Ivanchuk played queen b4 as expected, and still knight e4, rook c3 card was still available to play, but queen e2 was played, and it seems like, woohoo, we won, or rook or bishop, but then after bishop f5, rook is hanging, and after queen takes h5, it's possible to take, but probably white relied on this mating, okay, not mating, but attacking idea, but called bishop g4 happened, and then after this queen goes h8, bishop takes h3, and in the game knight b3 was played, but now knight d5 is not really working, because queen is not on optimal square, and after number of checks king is running away, and black is staying alive. In the game, knight b3 was played, and it's already a matter of technique, because compared to previous position, black's pawn structure can move, it's not blocked, it's pretty mobile, and without any problems, Ukrainian grandmaster crushes his opponent. Game was over. Queen a4, really cute finesse, because after taking, this is a fork, and after king c1, we got bishop h6, which leads to, complete annihilation of all the pieces of the opponent, and with 3 extra pawns, it's not hard to win the pawn in game. So really a brilliant game by Ivanchuk, even though it was risky, and he was like really hanging above the cliff and like barely staying alive, but his shape is awesome. He handled everything very well, not without help of the opponent, but the dynamics that Ivanchuk brought to the game was really insane. And let's go to the next example. And in the next game, we have Levon Aronian, who we had yesterday on our video podcast, where he, in the first round, got absolutely losing position without a piece with black, and he was very close to losing, but his opponent didn't have enough guts to not be scared and punish Levon. And this time, again, he's being picked. And actually, I think that US team coach or captain would really think whether it's good to put Levon to play against top teams, because right here also not without adventures. He plays white pieces. He chose e4. I don't know. In my memory, Levon is always like kind of close player, like d4, c4. But right here, he's going to open combat. His opponent choosing Sicilian with a 6. Some sort of Taimanov, or I'm very bad with names. Bishop e3, a6, and this is like super standard theory. Right here, many ways how to continue. One of them is the one that Levon chose. He played queen d2, trying to go castle on. There are other moves like a3, trying to prevent bishop before. Queen f3 was very popular, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. And right now it's also pretty solid take, but I didn't even see it very often. There are some reasons and way to equalize, but still pretty fighting options. So really a lot of different options. Levon plays queen d2, knight f6, castle on. So he's definitely showing that he's gonna play for a win. And after bishop e7, the standard continuation here is f3, trying to prepare g4 and start advancing. On the king side, position is really dynamical, a lot of stuff going on right here. Probably with an engine it's all around equal, but black, I mean, it's not easy to play for black. White also needs to find resources, but attacking always easier than defending. And probably this was the reason why Levon played his next move. Here he played g4, which was clearly preparation because he spent no time. And his idea is to give up a pawn, which looks really nonsense because right now the bishop is under attack. But he wants to attack on the g file. So right now he plays bishop f4, attacking the queen. Let's say e5 is not the great option, despite the fact that it's looking really cool, forking two pieces at a time. But then after knight d5, our knight again comes to great outpost, very similar to Ivanchuk's game. So it's not really great. We can also, get rid of the spin easily. In the game, knight e5 was played, which is the best move, as you can see, blocking the queen from the attack. Knight c6, bc still Levon is in his prep. Rook g1, attacking the pawn, his opponent, not castling, not playing g6, which were second, third line of engine, plays g5. And the idea is that he wants to prepare knight f3, but instantly knight f3 is not really working because the queen is hanging. So g5 is some sort of decoy, which Levon goes for by playing rook g5 again without spending any time. Idea is that after bishop g5, knight f3 would be the move. So he decides to keep this bishop on the board because, as you can notice, all these pawns standing on the dark squares, on the light squares, therefore dark squares are weak and we can try to use all of them. In the game, knight f3 was played. Very good option. Knight g5, queen g5. So if we summarize everything, what can we see? Black has 3 extra exchange, but development absolutely horrible. King stuck in the center, and white has dynamics. This is some sort of tile position. He would win probably 11 out of 9. Out of 10, sorry. Out of 9, okay as well. So yeah, like a really tile style position because it's very easy to attack, lots of opportunities, position is unclear, lots of chances to win. And Levon also kind of likes such positions. But yeah, I myself wouldn't like to play it for white because if it's a preparation and you end up without exchange and valuation bar is around zeros, something is wrong about it. In the game, d6 was played, trying to develop. Maybe d5 was a bit better. f4, queen e7, offering queen trade. And right now, by the way, black down to 33 minutes, and Levon first time started thinking, so he's probably out of his prep, and he goes queen g1. Why? Because we don't want to trade queens when we up when we down material. When we up material, we want to do it, and that's what black is trying to show. Queen g7 was an option, but then the queen could continue being annoying. Or let's say rook f8 was also an option, dropping the pawn and trying to castle on. So Levon plays queen g1, keeping in mind both of the threats, trying to bite from all sides. King f8 was played, taking away queen g7 opportunity. e5 was played, really cool move, because if, let's say, black takes and we take back, right now all these dark square holes can be used super easily. And right here, black needed to play d5. So white, okay, what white hopes for? Probably white would like to play something like queen b6, and let's say after some bishop d7, finish development, keep an aim on h7 pawn, and later again, try to use these holes. But in the game, rook g8 was played, and queen b6 comes with the tempo, and after d5, Aronian found great move. He just plays knight e4. He says, I don't care, I still want to get to all of these outposts, and I don't care that my knight can be taken, because then after rook d8, queen d8, I mean, obviously we up a queen. After king g7, we have great geometry. Queen g1 check, winning the rook right here. So black played rook g6, and right here we have a dilemma to go right or left, like in some fairy tales. And better was to go to f6, which seems kind of obvious, because we're attacking the pawn, our knight more multitasking, we are attacking way harder. Let's say after some sacrifice trying to get extra pawn, we can do a lot of stuff, but let's say even if we go with the king to b1 and then continue attacking, this bishop's still sitting in the cage, and we have great mating attacking opportunities. And yeah, this was it. Probably king g7 is the move, but then bishop d3 comes with the tempo. So knight f6, according to all parameters, I mean, was better. But knight d6 was played, so the game goes on. Bishop d7, defending the pawn. Right now, let's say knight is not on f6, so something like queen c7 to put more pressure doesn't really work. Bishop d3, rook is attacked, rook moving out of the way. King b1, again standard move, we saw it in the previous Ivanchuk's game, just to avoid any checks, probably with the queen from f4. Bishop e8, and right here white needs to find a plan, because all development moves were played. King went to b1, and Levon chose not the best move according to the engine, but the best move according to the logic and playing for a win. He plays a5, trying to create pressure on his opponent. Queen a7 was played. Black still dreams about queen trade, because queen trade is good when you up material, when you being under attack, but of course Levon is not going for it. He played queen b4. Right now there is a discovered attack, and white right here had probably huge balls, because rook g1 was played, not being scared of like some knight c8 check, because then after winning the queen apparently we get mated and won. Never forget about your back rank, because some Leinier mate pretty often thin. Levon finds here amazing move bishop e2, trying to keep the king closed and not jeopardize him. And right here, after queen g1, attacking this, Levon came up with another brilliant idea, which is a3. And right now to queen d1 and king a2, it looks like we're down a rook, so what are we fighting for? But actually we have a lot of attacking opportunities. We have like f6, we have knight f5, we have different checks, and the king is in real danger. And right here the best move for black was queen g1, and after it white cannot do anything, because there is no good check, because the king will run away. f6 is the best move, trying to limit the king, but then after king g8 we cannot make any progress, because let's say there is no check, because our queen reliably guarding everything. If queen b7 chasing the rook, we can go queen a7 and repeat move, so this must be a draw. But black was down to 2 minutes 53 seconds, and until the 40th move still 10 moves. EF was played, still not the final mistake, but Levon pressures like a tank. He's going all in, he's attacking, he wants to win. H6 was played, which is another great move, creating a window for the king to escape. And right here, there was a critical moment because there is knight f5 idea trying to give to black this discover check. And the only move, okay, not the only move, but the only idea was to push f pawn. Because right now, after the check, we somehow staying alive. There is no way we're gonna be mated, and mystically, it's not sufficient having queen and knight to mate. In the game, king g6 was played, which looks natural, and black played this move only having 2 seconds on the clock. And then after queen f6, king already can no longer go here because there is a mating idea. King h5, knight still goes to f5. And after queen f3 here and knight e3, king has nowhere to go. Queen must be sacrificed. And black resigned. So really interesting game from Aronian. I cannot say that it's great because preparation could have been better, because if you get equal position without an exchange after prep, something is wrong, even though it's so dangerous, because few moments black could really hold this draw, but US pretty confidently won their match. And actually next game we're gonna analyze from the same match, but by Dominguez. So let's go to the next one. Next game is not as exciting as previous two, but still pretty cute. Because right here, Dominguez is playing black, so he needs at least a draw. He doesn't need to lose, because you just need to win the match. You shouldn't do it like for a 0 every time. Against him, opponent choosing Roy Lopez, and everything was looking standard until this moment. Bishop c6. Kind of interesting way to play, getting some sort anti-Berlin positions after knight c3 and stuff like this, where white tries to rely on knights, on outposts, but I don't like really this decision. Computer also says that it's around equal, plus white committed to the castle short. Usually in anti-Berlin, king goes to castle long, keeping an option attacking on the king side somehow. And right here, Dominguez plays bishop g4, which is the best move. One of the standard plans in the position is to go something like this and get with the knight to d4 normally, but right here bishop g4 is also right on spot. And after g4, white kind of baiting black. Do you have enough guts to play knight takes g4? As you can see, it's a question mark, therefore move is incorrect. But because it's a team competition, or maybe it was hard for Leinier to calculate all the complications, he didn't take on g4, he played bishop g6. In fact, taking on g4 was winning, so this is an idea. And when I play such positions as white, I'm always very scared playing g4, because there is an idea of playing f5 and trying to capitalize on this pin. And after, let's say, king g2 f5, white's position is worse. After ef, the only move is queen c8, because if we go to d7, there is a fork. And then we have queen f5 with a lot of great chances to finish attack with mate or material advantages. Queen e1, top number one move according to the engine. And trade here, black needs to play very cold-blooded, not really rush with all the cost to finish the attack, but to really try to let white go, have two pawns for a piece. But what pawns? These pawns, they are incredible. They like rushing forward, they destroy everything on their way. And this was the best way to play, but in the team tournament, you're usually not risking it. So this is a key difference between like individual play and such team events. Bishop g6 was played, and after it, players traded a lot. Right here, Dominguez played castle, keeping the position very symmetrical and simple. Probably queen d5 was a bit better, because most likely white would take and we would undouble our pawns and have a little bit more chances in the endgame. But after castle, everything was slowly going to the draw. Opponents traded on the e-file, queens got swapped off, one pair of rooks went away, and everything was going to the logical end, which is a draw. Black repeated moves, but at some moment black decided that it's enough to wait. We need to play rook e8 and go to the endgame, because in the rook endgame black cannot really make any progress. And this endgame must be equal, must be drawish, but it's not that easy to play for white, because normally active king is the key to success in the pawn endgames. But the best white can reach is d4. When black come into d6, can easily play c5 and try to take back the balance. So it's not that easy to play for white, but the game went on, white occupied the central squares, black plays b5. It's a very smart move because it's a bait. So if you, let's say, see an exchange and always accept it, it's bad news for you, because then black can create outside passed pawn, which will distract the king of white, and black, like in some Pac-Man, will eat all your pawns one by one. That's the reason why white plays king e3, which is awesome move, trying to wait king c5 and now go to d3, not letting opponent to take and infiltrate to c4. Black plays g5, trying to destabilize the situation on the opposite flank on the king side. Right now taking fg is a little bit risky because then this king can come and eat all the pawns. In the game f5 was played. It's all about opposition, extra tempo, so 5 was optimal decision, and black tries their last shot playing king d6, white goes king d4 back, and black plays c5. Right now we need to choose king d3 or e3. It's like method of comparison. Let's see, if we go king d3, pawn is hanging, so black most likely will take. Then go king e5, king is very active, king f4 is a threat. And then after king e3, it looks like white is controlling opposition, but black can pass the right to move to white, and after c4, apparently white needs to lose it. If white goes back, king goes forward, eating all the pawns, and if king f3, then d4, and the king again dominates. So on the game, white, after, by the way, forward move already, play king e3, extra 30 minutes. It's impossible to lose pawn game when you got plus 30 minutes, and yeah, it's like it's drawish basically. Black goes king c6, not going for this line because after ba, king e5, we can just wait, and this idea no longer working. Actually, white can already win because white gets the opposition and active king. Black plays king c6, white goes king d3, c4, and another decisive moment, and like before the finish line, white just falls, and Dominguez got right before front line managed to win this race, because white played king e3, and then after ba, we got the same problem. This is opposition. Black is about to play d4, and the king will be Terminator. In the center, he will eat all the pawns. Instead, what was needed to do is to play king d2 or king e2. It doesn't really matter, because right now, after ba, king c5, aiming for d4, we have king e3. And right here, after king c6, we also don't want to go this way, because the same trick can happen. We can just wait. And by waiting like this, we can always have this opposition. Somewhere we can even win. But the white failed, chose poorly, and Dominguez managed to grab this victory, which was a pretty tough and sweaty one, and he managed to win, eating important c2 pawn, promoting. It was some queen in game, and it required some skill, but it's pretty easy to defend from all the checks thanks to a pawns. Plus we can grab a4 pawn as well, and yeah, pretty great endgame by Leinier. He created as many traps as he could, and his opponent, despite the fact being Grandmaster with 2500 rating, managed to fail. So this is it for today's recap. Please comment down below which videos do you think were the best, what was the most exciting game for you. Also comment who you support, and please like and subscribe the video and support our channel. Bye.